So welcome everybody. Wait, have you recorded? Okay. Welcome everyone. We are so excited to have everyone here today, and this is our first official virtual official youth parent meeting. So thank you for being a part of this historic moment. And just to start off, that James and I, just to give a brief history, that James and I came together earlier this year to really step back and reflect and look at our SBC youth. And a couple of things we noticed that I can confidently say is that we feel like there is a really strong community and culture here at SBC. And these kids really found their community, and we realized it can now exist on its own. And they don't need us to want to hang out with each other or talk. And that just really made us question, okay, so who are we as SBC youth, and what is our mission, and who do we want to be, and what will we like to see in our youth, and many other questions. And for me or James, and as well as Christine, we don't really know how long we will be serving, but we do know that at SBC Youth, we'll still be here for a really long time. And this motivated us to use our time and positions to define and establish more guidelines for ourselves and for the future leaders to carry the same vision. And so now our next step is to focus more on the parent-student relationship. And as we are in the current climate, we notice that a majority of our time is spent at home, and want to emphasize that importance of that relationship we have with students and our parents. Also, as SBC prides in being a family church, we really wanted to integrate more parent involvement, having more clear communication from us as leaders to the parents, and also being able to be supported spiritually by you all.
So thank you, Annabelle, for that introduction. We'll get into kind of the agenda today. So we'll start with a brief overview of kind of who we are, and then kind of an explanation of SBC Youth, starting with our vision and our mission, and then kind of going into some of the things that we are doing, some of the things that we want to do, and then some of the things that we hope to grow into. And then kind of like the bulk of this meeting, or a primary objective, was to kind of start the conversation of the way that we can build our partnership together. And so the last few topics will be about how you can get involved, how to stay connected, and then we will open the floor for questions at the end. So if you have any questions, please hold on to them to the end. And yeah, thank you. So with that, James, we're gonna start introducing ourselves.
Yes, so we've got three wonderful leaders here, and to introduce ourselves and start us off, my name is James Kim. I am now in my third year being the youth ministry director at SBC, which is crazy. The time just flies by so fast. I'm currently 26 years old, and I also full-time teach at Mariner High School. I'm a freshman English teacher there, and this is my second year. The reason why I serve the youth, I love them so much. They're so precious, they're so passionate, they're filled with so much potential, and they're kind of the reason why I do the work that I do, both at church and at school. And I know that there's so many things that are influencing the youth today, just all sorts of things they're taking from social media, from their friends, from this world. And I really want to help ground them in their faith and in their identity, especially before they grow up to become adults. We really feel like youth is a time where you start to figure out who you are, what's your identity, and those are the questions that are really important to youth. And so I want to help foster a safe environment, and especially at church, for them to understand and know these things. And here are a few just interests that I enjoy. Maybe some of your children like to do some of these things or talk about these things. And so if you see some kind of connection, then you can go, oh, my child can talk with James about basketball or sneakers or K-pop or anything else on here. And the contact info, You can call or text me, email, Instagram, and Kakao message. All of those are great ways to reach out to me.
Yeah, so I am Annabelle and currently fourth year doing youth leading and also helping out with the admin as well as the marketing and design. I run the Instagram page for the youth as well. And I am now 21. I am a senior student at UW, majoring in design and then minoring in informatics. And personally, for me, growing up, one of the most influential people in my life was my youth leader, who I just trusted and felt comfortable to go and talk. And she really helped me grow and reflect on the personal experiences I've had and really shaped me into the person I am today. So I feel like I owe a lot to her. And I just feel like I want to reflect that on the youth as well. And I also just really love their energy. I feel like they keep me young and I just learn a lot from them. It's amazing to experience what we get to experience every single week, whether it be in person or on Zoom. I feel really lucky to just get to know them. And yeah, some of my interests that I really picked up back up over quarantine was just being outdoors, playing tennis and soccer, and I started playing Pokemon Go and watching some K dramas, and I also really enjoy cooking. And yeah, and feel free to contact me below. I think I really am responsive through text, email kind of, and Instagram mainly. Katok I check like every couple days. But yeah.
Hi, so I'm the new face in the group. I just joined a few weeks ago. So I'm Christine and I'm 19 years old and I'm a sophomore at Rice University studying computer science. And so for me, I kind of came home abruptly from Houston in March, and as I was here, I kind of felt like God was really calling me to like really start like investing in the community here, and I really felt like He was placing me in Washington for like a reason, and so I think that kind of led me to think about like what He wanted me to do, and I think what I realized is He kind of gave me a heart for youth and just wanting to like walk with them spiritually and just share life together. And I think, you know, life can be really hard sometimes, but I think when Jesus is like your rock and foundation, I think it just, I don't know, it makes your life different, you know? And I think I just really wanted to be part of the youth journey into discovering who Christ is and building that foundation in their lives. And yeah, so you can learn a little bit more about what I like to do, just some of my hobbies on the screen. And then I think here's my contact information. I think we also put the contact information in the chat too. So I know we're moving through the slides pretty quick so that you can reference the chat and find that information there. And I think I'm pretty responsive on all the platforms, so feel free to contact me in that way. Yeah.
All right, so we wanted to start off with sharing just the youth vision and mission, and this is something that we came up with together actually over the summer. We spent some time to really pray and talk about our youth amongst the leaders, and these are two, like, I guess, statements that we felt would really be the guiding our guide to what we decide to do for the ministry, to what direction we head. So if you can go to the next slide. This is our vision. It says, SBC Youth is a community that focuses on becoming authentic Christians. As we acknowledge our brokenness and imperfections, we depend on Christ and recognize we need each other, valuing the importance of building genuine Christ-centered relationships. So we felt that this was a really key point in being authentic Christians, especially in the youth, because they are so influenced by so many other things going on in the world. It's important for them to know who and what they're influenced by, and we really want them to be influenced by Christ and the Word and Jesus. And so we really wanted to emphasize that, and the acknowledgement of brokenness and imperfections, knowing that no one is perfect in this world, but that leads us to depending on Christ, and also the fact that we need each other. We're created as social beings, and so it's important for us to really have those genuine Christ-centered relationships, especially amongst the youth. And so we want to really foster that and help with that amongst our youth students. And so in order to really, I think, grow or move on from that vision, this is our mission statement that we came up with. And it says, together we will challenge what we see in societal norms, counter cultural Christianity with our own biblical confidence, focus on building foundation in our faith and relationship with God, and grow and learn with you what it means to be and exemplify a follower of Christ. And whether they come alone or they don't, we really want to welcome every single youth student into the SBC family, and we're super excited to do ministry together with them, and also with the parents too. So we wanted to emphasize again that there are a lot of different societal norms that exist, also about what it means to be kind of a cultural Christian. We really wanted to counter that, and it goes back to our vision, being authentic Christians. And in order to do so, we understand and we know the importance of really being in the Word, understanding what God's Word means, and applying that to our lives. And then again, focusing on really building that personal relationship with God, with our God, and then from there to really grow and learn and to walk with one another.
So we want to share some of the things that we've been doing and just kind of show you guys some of the ways that God has been working in the youth's lives and just growing it and kind of like creating that community. And so we'll kind of show you guys kind of what SBC Youth looks like right now. So if we go to the next slide, right now we are 33 youth students, grades 6 through 12. And if you guys have been here since the beginning of SEC, you know that we were pretty small, but now we're pretty big. And so that's also like a huge, I think, praise report in terms of just the ways that we've grown. And then go to the next slide.
And yeah, so we have regularly scheduled events such as the worship services on Sundays at 5. Hope to see everyone there today. And then we also want to have, we started like youth worship services, but it is on pause right now and to be continued in 2021. But at least for now, we also, we've been continuing our seasonal Bible study, which is on Fridays at 7:30 p.m. And these are a couple of photos that we wanted to just share with you guys from the outdoor service. And then this is our youth. The one time we got together and had a really good youth praise. I was really blessed by this. But hopefully we can see this more in the future once safe to do so. And then currently, these are actually pictures from our last Friday, actually 2 days ago, from our Bible study, which we themed it as Flashback Friday. We are going over the Old Testament, so we're kind of throwing it back to the Old Testament and doing this little theme where it's kind of retro. But yeah, as you see from this image right here, like we prepare presentations like you see right now weekly together. And then we really want to make it fun. We want to engage participation. We want students to contribute their thoughts, and we put them in breakout rooms for like small group discussions where each leader kind of fosters these breakout room questions. And last week we had 20 students come through the Zoom and they stayed for the whole 2 hours. And I think I personally had so much fun with it as well. I think this slide is like a really good example of like how we go through each verse. We bold things that are a little bit harder to understand, and we emphasize some things that may be confusing for a sixth grader to understand. We just really have this mindset of like, how will a sixth grader, how will a young high school student interpret this, and how do we want to apply this in their lives? And so that is a lot of our like main questions when designing these presentations for our students before we prepare for Bible study. And then, yeah, these are a couple other from our past Bible study. So we had, as you know, if you didn't know, over the past summer, we had a Bible study where we got to kind of choose what we wanted to do, and we focused on leadership. We just thought that we wanted to really raise and the students to understand that they are leaders, and they don't need to be in a specific position or anything to be defined one. And so we had a really fun time doing that. And then this was from our this past Friday. We just took a little picture of saying, having this little motto of phrase to say that's Holy Spirit, activate our faith. And yeah, just a lot of Zoom meetings, but we've had really a lot of fun with them. And then as well as game nights and visitations. So with game nights, we usually host these at the end of our Bible study. And they're actually, James and I, and we really worked hard to like create these really creative Zoom games. For example, this was like, show us your favorite food or something like that. And we would vote on which one was the most appetizing looking one. And this one, we did 2 teams going against each other. They had to make a face all together and screenshot it. And then whoever did it first won. This other team, like they made the coronavirus. And so you can see how they got really creative with this. But yeah, we just had a lot of fun doing that. And we just want to show you how, what some of these meetings look like while they're just in their room. And I know that whenever like parents ask like, oh, what did you do today at school? They just said like nothing, or like they just kind of forget. But I just want to update you guys like with what's actually happening on the Zoom screens, and also like the amount of fun we are having.
Another thing that we do in our youth is retreats, and they are typically our winter retreats. With our winter retreats, we talked with the youth, and I actually asked them, I remember 2 years ago, if they wanted to have their own separate retreat just with our youth ministry, or if they wanted to do joint retreats. And to my surprise, they said, we want to do joint retreats. And so I kept in touch with Pastor Andy, who is the youth pastor at Onuri, which is where I previously served. And we've created this partnership where we could have joint retreats during the winter time. And the youth just love it. It's such a great time. The leaders really love it too. It's a really blessed time for us as well. And moving forward, we want to continue to do joint retreats in the winter time. And then in the summer, we're going to try to do our own separate, or just with our church, or just with our youth, a separate summer retreat. Obviously, we know at this time with COVID, retreat is probably, it's probably not going to be joint, or it's probably not going to happen in person. But we are starting some brainstorming ideas to see if there is something else we could do, because we know during a winter break, people may not be going anywhere. So we're slowly, just very, very in the beginning stages of thinking about what we could do. And then another thing we do is birthday deliveries / visitations. We just want to encourage the students in moving up another year for their birthdays and just want to celebrate with them. We just give them a little goodies. It could be bubble tea, it could be some of their favorite snacks, and we write a card for them. And yeah, we just want to do that to show just our love and wish them a happy birthday. And then with visitations, we know that our youth are just so multi-talented. They do acting, they play sports, they play instruments, they've got other skills and talents that they have, and we know they perform. They have all these different events that they're a part of, and so if they have some kind of event coming up, we love to attend, to support, watch them just own the gifts and the talents that God has given them, and they're a lot of fun. And so I know that again, because of COVID, there may be some things that may not be available or may have been canceled. But if there are upcoming events that your child is taking part of, we'd love to know so that we can go and support and visit. And then another thing that we've been doing is social media and just being active on social media. We really want to use this as a platform to kind of change again like our cultural and our societal norms as to like having this very negative view of what social media is. We want to really shed positive light and show how we can use it in a positive manner. And so we've been very active with our Instagram. That's this little picture here on the left, and this one, we post a lot about announcements. In the summer, we had our leadership Bible study, and we would post challenges for the youth to follow and try to do throughout the summer. We also post birthday pictures and just saying a little quick thing about them, and lots of other updates and information that may come up too. And then with the YouTube, this one is something we started recently. We have a lot of youth that are interested in filming and making little videos. And so this was an idea that came up amongst the leaders too, is what if we open up a YouTube channel and this becomes something where it would actually not just be for us youth, but that it would be visible to really anyone, especially non-believers, so that they would feel encouraged and they would feel blessed through the videos that we create. And we're thinking about doing these various series where both leaders and students, they could upload videos. And the first one we started was called the Spiritual Mukbang. And if you've watched mukbang before, it's like people eating like all this food in front of the camera. They talk about it, describe it, and it looks really delicious. But our spiritual mukbang, it's kind of a more like Christian take on it, where instead of eating like physical food, we eat spiritual food. We take in the word and we digest it, and we could either describe or explain further what a passage means, what it may mean to us, and just kind of sharing some spiritual food with the youth and with other viewers, so that again, that they would feel really blessed and encouraged through these words. And we want to encourage the youth to participate and create videos where they can share that. We think it's a great opportunity for them to grow in their faith as well, to practice sharing part of a passage, to also to really digest the word themselves, and so that they would be blessed by it too. And it'll just be kind of a collective for our youth leaders and the students alike to really just bless each other and to bless other people, kind of almost like a evangelism tool too. All right, so here are a couple goals that we want to shoot for as a youth. These three, I think they're kind of like broader goals, but these are, again, stemmed from our vision and mission statement, and we really want to look to hitting these goals, particularly for this year. And the first one is really growing Christ-centered relationships between the youth. We see the importance of the youth spending time with each other, making friends, but we really want to focus on them being Christ-centered relationships, because once they graduate from high school, who knows if they'll be seeing each other or staying in contact. But we felt like, I think personally, when you create this Christ-centered relationship between the youth or between each other, these are relationships that you take for a long time, way past the youth time. Next is to grow and learn spiritually through the word, prayer, and relationships. Really want to emphasize digging into the word. And so our Bible studies are a great time for that, where we dig deeper. And then also we love to serve with the youth. We love to serve the people. This could be serving opportunities within the church. This could be serving opportunities outside the church too. But just more ways for us to kind of pour out, because as we grow, as we dive into the word, and as we have God really pouring out into us, we overflow, and we want to really reach out and love on those around us, and serving is a way that we can do that. So then that goes into some future ideas that we have for our youth. And we want to continue doing visitations with the youth. This, I think, now includes more of, if parents are comfortable, we would love to visit them in their homes, or just go out, grab a drink or maybe a meal, and to just spend time with them. We know that everyone's kind of cooped up in their houses, not really going anywhere. And so that would be a way for us to spend time with the youth and just get to know them, hang out with them, and just kind of check in, see how they're doing spiritually as well. The next idea is to hold prayer and praise nights. This is actually something we're thinking of doing with the parents too, because we want the parents to be in prayer with the youth, and for them to know that the parents are praying for them too. I think a lot of times we say it, oh, I'm praying for you, but I don't know how often we actually see parents pray for the children, or even the children praying for their parents. And so we wanted to have some time where we could really have praise and prayer together as a youth and with parents too. Another idea we have is to have grade hangouts at maybe those youth houses. Again, we know that during COVID, it's difficult, or people may not be comfortable, but if there are, maybe we could spend time in smaller pockets of groups to really just get to know the other youth that are in their grades. And we want to continue to foster these relationships and grow these relationships with one another. Another idea we have is house church. This is something that I believe our church has done in the past. I wasn't attending SBC at the time when this happened, but we know that house church was something that the youth really hold dear to their heart, and was just a really positive experience for many, if not all of them. And so thinking about ways that we can try to implement coming together in houses to worship, to praise, pray, and also have fellowship with each other. And then again, number 5 is more serving opportunities. They could be projects done outside. They could also be ways that we can serve inside our church, like getting the youth involved with children's ministry, or even our Sunday service, and other ways too. And if you have any ideas for future events, if you could hold on to those ideas, and we'd love to hear them at the end during our Q&A session.
And with that being said, we kind of wanted to open up the floor or just start the discussion on ways that you can be involved as parents with our youth ministry. So we go to the next slide. So some things that we're thinking about were, again, like great hangouts hosted by parents, prayer nights, providing stacks of food for events, giving rides, and like just checking in with your children. I think as leaders, we're kind of thinking or we're kind of like reflecting on our previous experiences. And I think some of the things that we felt is that parents generally want to be involved with their children's like spiritual life. But I think it can be a little bit confusing on knowing like how to help or when to help. And so we kind of wanted to take that first step and start that process and communicating, both ways, like how you want to be involved and how we also can see you guys being involved with our youth as well. And also we just really want to make it super clear. There's like no pressure or guilt at all. Like please don't feel like you need to like serve or feel like I know it's like very hard as parents. Like everyone wants to be the best parent possible, and I'm sure that as parents too, there's like a lot of pressure to be a good parent, and maybe perhaps like some guilt as well if you feel like you're not able to be a good parent. But we really do not want any of that at all. The whole intention behind like involvement again is, I think we realize that like especially since so many of us are staying at home and with our families all the time, like our primary like spiritual like role models in some ways are our parents, right? And so I think and we think that it would be a really cool and powerful way to start involving parents in their youth as well. I think, at least for me, kind of the way I see the youth leaders is kind of like, like the older brothers and sisters to kind of like guide them and be like role models. And sometimes it can be hard to talk to your parents, especially when you're in your teenage years. And so like as a youth leaders, I kind of see ourselves in that kind of role where we're like safe people to like talk to. But at the same time, at the end of the day, you guys as parents love your children probably the most, probably pray for them the most fervently. And, you guys are God's gift and God's like, guardians for your children, right? And so we really wanted to thank you once again for everything that you do for your children and for letting us be part of their spiritual journey, and also kind of open that door so that we can serve our youth even better. And so these are just some ideas. I know also for those of you who have filled out the parents like survey before this meeting, you guys also kind of indicated some of the ways that you want to serve. And then also, once again, at the end of the presentation, we'll have a time to kind of ask questions and kind of discuss further. So we also love to hear some of the ways that you would want to get involved. And then the next slide. With that being said, I think communication is so important, especially right now when we're kind of not able to meet in person. And so some of the ways that you guys can connect with us is just calling or texting one of the leaders. Also, please watch out for our emails. I feel like a lot of times emails can go to junk, and we're also using this service called MailChimp for kind of our mass emails, so that it looks prettier and the information can be received a little better. And so with that service, we also know that it has a tendency to go to like junk. So please be on the watch for those emails. And also you can keep up with us on social media at our handle right there. And then we also have the SBC Youth Parents group chat. Also, what's it called? If you're not in any of these channels, or if you feel like you're not getting like the emails or the Kakao talks, please let us know. Like tell us in the chat or at the end so that we can add you. And then we would also kind of at the end when we're kind of having that question and answer time, kind of get a feel on what the best form of communication is, because we kind of want to also like centralize the communication too, so you guys don't have to look at multiple different places. So we're also just trying to figure out like what is the best way to communicate with y'all, and so we would really appreciate kind of that discussion later on in the meeting.
So yes, we are finally at our questions. And so I think before we actually want to get into questions, one thing we forgot to mention is our YouTube guidelines. So yeah, we actually made a guideline form for the students to figure out, to make sure that they are comfortable and aware that what they are posting will go online. And the process will actually go by uploading the video to a Google Drive folder, where then they will submit a Google form, another link through a Google form of like their title, description, and the thumbnail of the video. But that guideline is mainly to just make them understand that it is going to be public and it is for the intention of shedding positive light in the corner of the internet when there is a lot more negative or explicit content on and things that you can find online. So we want to be a source of inspiration and just a new way to spread Christianity and just have fun with it as well. And so that was a guideline. We also included video etiquette, some tips and tricks of how to shoot a good video. We included some resources of like where you can get free software. And so we actually will send that out in our next email for our weekly announcements. But I think that's also something I just wanted to include to say that the YouTube account, even though it's a community account, we do want to have some control of what is posted. And so we have the password and the account, but we will post for them. And then they just submit a Google form to let us, that notifies us that they want to upload a video. So that's how that process will go, just in case you were wondering. But yeah, we're just gonna open up the floor for any questions. Yeah.
그리고 혹시 한국 부모님도 있으면요, 한국말 더 편하면 한국말도 질문을 하셔도 괜찮아요. 우리가 최대한 우리의 실력으로 한국말로 대답을 노력을 할 거고요. 우리도 진짜 이해하는 게 많은 부모님들이 한국말이 더 편할 수 있는 거 알고요. 그리고 우리가 영어권이니까 그런 게 좀 부담될 수도 있는 걸 좀 알고 있어서 우리도 최대한 노력을 이제는 해보려고요. 이제 그래도 부모님들도 우리 소통하는 법이 like 어려울 수도 있으니까 그래서 이제 한국말이 혹시 더 편하면 그렇게 질문하셔도 괜찮습니다. 네.
우리가 영어를 배울게.
우리도 한국말을 더 많이 배워야 돼요.
네.
Yeah, or if you have any questions, place it in the chat as well.
I have a minor question. In the slide, the James phone number was different than what Christine put in the chat, so I wasn't sure which one was correct.
Oh, sorry. Wait.
Let's do a double check here.
Yeah, can you go back to the contact info for your About Me?
I probably typed it in wrong. My bad.
I don't know which one's right, so I just wanted to clarify.
Oh, it should be the same actually. 425-361-9122. I'll put it again in the chat here.
3619.
Oh, it is right. Okay, my bad. I thought you did that on purpose. Make sure we were paying attention.
No problem.
Do you guys have any questions or concerns so far?
Are you guys okay with parents joining your YouTube channel and thing? Or I thought at first maybe keep it for the youth, but I guess it's a public, right? So
Yeah. I think also what we meant by public is that like it would be public to the viewers. But yeah, we also were thinking of starting like a series where it could be collaborative with like maybe like cook with your parents, like a traditional meal or something like that. We do have a couple ideas for the future. This is just something we had a fresh idea of like a month ago. So, but yeah, we're super excited to see where our YouTube channel will go. And
Yeah.
is there just one channel with spiritual mukbang, or is there going to be other like?
oh yeah, so that's a playlist series, and then we're thinking of like there's like these like more fashionable ones where it's like get ready with me series. So we were thinking like get ready with me for church on Sunday, or I don't know. We're just very open to different ideas because a lot of our students, even like for students who do gaming, we're thinking how can we do that but also glorify God through it. And so we just want these students to be creative and be passionate about what they do, but then also how can we give it back to God?
Exactly.
You guys will be like the curators. They submit the content they want to post, and then you kind of review it with the form.
Yeah, and we talked about in the guidelines like no, obviously like no violence, no no swearing, no nudity or anything like that to really represent ourselves as a youth ministry too. And yeah. Oma, you had a question?
오케이. 한국말로 할게요. 퀘션 아니고 처음에 자기 소개할 때
네.
that's really helpful for us to understand you guys. 나도 잘 알지만 제임스나 크리스는 알지만 그렇게 프로파일을 하니까 더 이렇게 it's really helpful to know each other. 그리고 어제 내가 크리스하고 애나벨 아기 때 사진 이렇게 봤는데 이렇게 너네가 커가지고 뉴스를 섬기니까 되게 감동이고 그리고 이렇게 잘 프레젠테이션을 잘 준비해서 하는 것도 너무 고맙고 한 가지 궁금한 거는 저번에도 물어봤던 것 같은데 6th grade 같은 경우는 전화기도 없고 애들이 컴퓨터를 많이 이렇게 하진 않는데 어떻게 걔네들하고 더 인터랙션 하면서 인볼브하게 할 건지 좀 궁금해요.
So yeah, that's why we wanted to have this parent meeting initially, is like actually mainly for our 6th grader parents who, because the 6th graders have not, only 2 of them out of maybe like 7 or 8 have only shown up. And so we felt like the only way during this time is to contact through their parents because they don't have a phone, they don't have Instagram, and we don't even really know who they are. And so I felt like the only way right now is to get connected with their parents to see what they want to share with us about their child and how we can be more involved in their lives, or if they already have a community somewhere that like I think it was just that we just wanted to bridge the communication from the leaders to the parents right now to just really understand each student. But at least communicate that these events are happening so that their parents can tell them and inform them that, and like give them a ride, or if they need a ride, like we would love to know in advance so that we can do that. But if we don't have that communication, then it's really hard to involve them when and then it looks like we're excluding them, but that was not even our intention at all. I think that was why we just wanted to really have this meeting to communicate that clearly and just share with you that we really care about the youth. We want everyone, like ideally, we want everyone to be involved. We don't want these 1 or 2 students like feeling left out. But it's really hard because like the communication, or they don't check their phones as often, or they don't have these rides or anything. So I think just at least having that little bit of communication, at least we can say we did email you, we did katok you, so that there's no like fault on us for like not even communicating that in the first place.
Yeah, and I think to
So,
add to that too, that's where the ideas for like trying to plan grade hangouts and doing visitations, those are ways for us to be able to get to know the youth, and also for the youth students to get to know each other too, because those relationships are just as important, if not more. Yeah, if we aren't able to communicate that information out or get in contact with the parents, then it is difficult to do so. Okay. Yeah, and so that's why we felt like, again, this time was really important for us to communicate these things and also to open up more of that communication with the parents, because that will also really help get our youth, especially our younger youth, involved and connected with each other too.
스티븐이나 저기 소영이가 6th grade parents니까 여기서 한번 의견 같은 거 있으면 내주면 어때요?
yeah, no, I really enjoyed the presentation, and I really am impressed with the ideas that you guys came up with. And I'll just say, like, I guess myself being 6th grader parent, I was wondering, so you said that there's about eight 6th graders, is that right?
Six graders.
It's okay.
Oh, 6 of them, okay. Well, I was thinking, like, what do you guys think of, like, maybe are you guys thinking maybe having like a little small group just for the 6th graders, maybe just to have them get to know each other or something like that?
So I think with small groups right now, because there's only 3 of us, it's hard to have like grade specific small groups with each of the groups. Like ideally, it would be great if we had a leader per grade and per gender, so that each leader could really focus on them. But because we do have 3 leaders, the way that we've been kind of reaching out is through our older youth students have actually been really great with reaching out to the younger students too. And so it's kind of been a little bit of a trickle effect. But I would say with the 6th graders, we would love to have them like really get to know each other, to really build up that community. And when we do things together collectively as a youth ministry, like our Bible studies, our game nights, we actually do everything like intermingled, so that they do get to know other people in the youth, not just their own grade. But we do understand that the grade specific like hangouts, like these are the people that they'll continue to be with because they're in the same grade, and they may have a stronger or tighter relationship with them because of that. But we also see the importance of like you get to learn from your older hyungs and nunas or onnis and oppas through Bible study, through our game nights, and there's some great relationships that form that way too. And so we want to continue to do that, but also recognize that, yeah, there is something special about connecting with someone that's your age. And we felt like, yeah, particularly with the 6th graders, it is difficult because they may not all have phones or ways to communicate with each other too. But that's where, again, like trying to get a connection with the parents, and then maybe get the parents connected with each other, and then they can plan ways to hang out with each other too. Because actually, we only have guys, sixth grade guys. So all the sixth graders are guys. So we feel like it would be great for them to hang out, spend time together, and yeah, they get to spend time together like for 6 years in our youth ministry. So we feel like over the years, they'd really be able to form really strong bonds and relationships with each other.
And at the Zoom meetings, do you guys have breakout rooms then? Specific that, okay. And is it like pretty consistent? They always break up into their own grades?
Oh, no. So we actually mix those up too, so that they do get to know
Okay.
other people in the youth ministry. And they really enjoy that because otherwise they kind of stick to their like niche groups. But it kind of forces them to get to know other youth students. And they go, wow, like I didn't know this about Esther, or I didn't know this about Kai. And they start to form more relationships that way too.
Um,
And you guys mentioned that you guys are thinking of doing, it might be possible to do in person or house small gatherings maybe of like, not every week, but maybe, you know, like once a month or something of what the same
yeah,
the same people in the group
grade house.
in their grade, the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
grade.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're thinking.
Oh, and would that be like in I
Actually,
hate Zoom.
sorry. Keep going.
No, go ahead, Annabelle. Go ahead.
Okay, like
Sorry.
one example that I got to do was it last month or 2 months ago, was I got to take the 6th grade or the 7th and 8th grade girls to like a lavender farm, and we just like because it's only like 5 girls, we just like we got to spend time there. We still wore masks, but we just spent a lot of like girl time together and got to eat. And I think like we just want to, yeah, I think it's just more out of like if it's okay with the parents, then we would love to like have more fellowship, smaller gatherings first, with and get to know the 6th grade boys too. I think maybe we could have like a little like backyard, I don't know, dinner or something, but or just a hangout at a park or something small like that. I would just like want to get to know them, so that they will be more inclined to join us at our Bible studies because now they know us. Yeah. I know Brian actually had a question. He's been raising his hand, so I see you.
그래서 이렇게 이런 자리를 열어줘서 너무 고맙고요, 리더들한테. 이렇게 서로 알게 돼서 너무 감사한 자리라서 thank you for having us, you know, for this opportunity. 근데 얘기 들으면서 느낀 게, 물론 그레이드 레벨 스몰 그룹 있으면 되게 좋겠지만 리더가 부족해서 어려운 거는 저희가 이해하고 또 리더들한테 큰 부담을 주고 싶지도 않은데, 아까 이렇게 스티브 말을 한 것처럼 이렇게 저희 아까 그 파워포인트 보니까 grade level gathering at house 뭐 이런 말을 봤었거든요. 근데 지금은 이렇게 저희가 인퍼슨으로 만나긴 어렵지만 이렇게 자주는 아니더라도 가끔씩이라도 grade level끼리 좀 모임을 갖는다면 항상 이렇게 뉴스그룹에 오는 아이들은 되게 레귤러하게 오는데 참석하지 못하는 아이들이 좀 샤이할 수도 있고 한 번도 안 나오다가 이렇게 조인하는 게 좀 헤스테이트 될 수 있잖아요. 그러니까 좀 더 스몰러 그룹으로 모이면 많이 안 나오던 아이들도 조금 나오는 게 쉬울 수 있으니까 에브리 위크 익스펙하지는 않지만 이제 가끔이라도 이렇게 좀 더 스몰러 그룹으로 이렇게 게더링을 하면 리더들 3명이 이렇게 스프레드아웃해서 나눠서 하면은 아주 이렇게 크게 어렵지 않다면 이렇게 하면 많이 참석하지 못한 아이들을 조금 더 참석할 수 있게 이끌 수 있을 것 같다는 생각도 들어요. 그래서 이렇게 항상 뉴스그룹에서 이렇게 또 다른 그레이드 레벨 또 다른 아이들하고 이렇게 같이 스몰 그룹 하는 것도 너무 좋은데 그래도 저희가 이렇게 교회에서 자주 못 보거나 스몰 그룹을, 그러니까 유스 그룹을 잘 못 오는 아이들을 우리가 더 많이 참여하기를 원하는 거잖아요. 근데 그 아이들은 부모님들끼리 커넥션도 되게 중요하고 리더랑 부모님들 그 커뮤니케이션 되게 중요하지만 아이들 스스로가 스몰 그룹, 그러니까 아이들 스스로가 리더들하고 커넥됐다고 느꼈을 때 아이들이 더 참여하고 싶을 것 같아요. 그러니까 자기 그레이드 레벨하고 커넥됐다고 느끼고 리더들이 I have a leader who cares about me. 이렇게 느끼면 아이들이 더 참여할 것 같아서 좀 어렵겠지만 좀 스몰 그룹으로 만나는 것도 가끔 좀 하시면 어떨까라는 생각을 해요.
Yeah. And so I think in response to that, last month, actually the past 2 months, Annabelle actually said she was meeting with each of the girls. So she actually met once a week. Even I know that's really tough to do now, especially since we started school. But during the summer, she met once a week with each of the girls in the youth, and she did that. And so I just wanted to share, like, yeah, we understand the importance of that, and we're working towards that. And Christine and I will try to do some more of that too, so that the three of us are able to meet and connect more with the youth. But just if the parents could also understand too that like, I guess besides me, both Anna and Christine are both volunteers, and they're helping out with the church a lot, as well as attending school, and the schedule may not always work out very well. And so just please be understanding of that too, but we'll definitely do our best to really connect with each of our youth. And we genuinely want to make those connections with the youth, and don't want people to feel left out or feel like they don't have a leader that they can reach out to. We love to be able to make those connections with them. And so even though it may take a little bit, or we may need some more time, we are looking towards doing that.
Thank you. 그리고 if you guys need, help, from parents, 예를 들어서 뭐 seventh grade, 애들끼리 gathering을 해야 되는데 if you need place to, have meetings, then you can always reach out to parents, and we are willing to help, leaders to 너무 이렇게 수고하는데 리더들한테 다 맡길 수는 없잖아요, 우리가. 그러니까 anything you guys, 우리한테 도움이 필요하면 부모님들한테 또 말씀해 주시면 되게 고마울 것 같아요.
I think that's why we also wanted to have this meeting, just because we don't even really know which parents would be comfortable with opening up their house or backyard, or and when they would be free. So I think we just wanted to share with you like our vision and like some ideas we have, so that yeah, it seems like you are willing to want to get involved with that. And so I feel like that's like that we didn't know that, and so I think that's why we even want to have this meeting, just to see like the like the excitement that parents have, that to host these smaller grade hangouts, and yeah, and hopefully like we don't even have to be there, and they'll just still want to meet up together. And I think maybe for like the first couple ones, like we would probably like want to just get to know them together, but also like, yeah, we want them to continue just use each other to really have these hard conversations or pray for each other. And so that is the mission and the goal we have. And then Mr.
So
yeah.
yeah, so I had it's kind of a similar types of question, and I'm the first one. Thank you guys for setting this up and volunteering your time to help the youth, and so I'm really glad that you guys are spending that time. In a similar way, how do we get these kids that are really involved, really be excited to be involved? Because I think if you already built some friendship within the small group, within the youth group, I think that helps them kind of want to be involved. But people who are coming in new or coming in kind of not knowing or having that established relationship, it's very hard, it seems like, to be really excited to, you know, join and be involved. And, you know, as a parent of a 4th, 6th, and 7th grader, it's, you know, if it's like, it's hard to always push them to go if they're not really comfortable going. But it's a lot easier if they build a relationship with people within the youth group and they want to go, you know. And so how do we get to a point where we can get, you know, these people, you know, kids that are not involved to be excited to be, you know, come and actually join and be involved in the group.
Mm-hmm. I actually think one way that we could do that is, this is kind of asking like the parents for help, but if parents are willing to like spend time together, then I think their children are also able to spend time together too, right? If the parents hang out, like let's say for example, Pora's family and Kwang's family, they decided, oh, let's maybe we can go over to their place and maybe get to know them, hang out with them, and their kids come too. Then it's a way for their kids to also interact, and maybe they will connect because they play similar games.
That's a
They're
great
similar
idea.
ages. And I think, of course, like we would love to form, again, relationships with the youth too. But what could happen there also is if we're the only ones that they have connections with, they'll be there because we asked them to come. But then again, they may not always be inclined to form relationships with the other youth students. They might just only have a connection between me and them, or Annabelle and them, or Christine and them. And so I wouldn't say it is a tough it's a tough thing to solve or come up with like an answer to. And I don't think there's just one right answer either, or one right solution. I think it does take like a combination of these things where yes, youth and youth leader connection and relationship is important, as well as building relationships between the parents, as well as building relationships between the youth as well. And so it's kind of almost 3 ways in terms of connecting the youth and having them feel involved. And so I think thinking about our part as like youth leaders, it's definitely when we do have gatherings or events, we want to continue to kind of intermingle and have them really get to know each other during those times, as well as meeting with them maybe in small pockets or individually. So we really build a personal relationship with them. And then also, and then to like the parents side and the youth side, it's for them to, I think, spend time with each other, get to know each other too. And also for the youth to spend time together in those ways too, not just in like a church context or church setting, but also outside of that too. We feel like that really builds those personal connections when you spend time not just at church, but actually outside of church.
They're a little bit over time, but this is our, we will just wrap up the question floor right now. But yeah, feel free to reach out to us if you have any more questions and concerns or anything. We want to be in contact with you, and we want to, yeah, help you answer those questions. And then, this is our youth parent survey. If you haven't filled this out, you just take your camera app and you scan it, and then it'll take you to the survey. But otherwise, it's also on the email.
The link is also in the chat too, if it's easier to just click.
So thank you for.
Thank you, Annabelle. Thank you, Pastor James.
Thank you,
Christine.
Thank you, Christine. Hey, Guang, let's schedule a play date.
I guess
Yeah. Pastor James made some good points.